Hello and welcome to episode 7 of ScotchNow, where we are featuring Saksham, and he is talking about his company, Talent Link Up. Today's date is Friday, October 24th, so thank you all for spending a Friday evening with us, or an afternoon for the Pacific Coasters, because we're recording this at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. So Saksham, please welcome.
Thanks, Chris. Thank
Yes.
you so much. It's been a. I mean, we've been trying to plan this for a while, and we finally
Yes.
meet. Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much for spending time with us and being here to talk about your journey in ServiceNow as well as your company and your. I think you got some exciting news as well that we can discuss
Yes,
later.
for
But
sure.
first off, let's talk about the drinks.
Yep.
So today I'm opening a new bottle, Ardbeg's Smoke Trails. So Ardbeg's my favorite distillery. I've never had this kind of bottle. This is the Traveler's Edition. It's got a sea salty spray, nuttiness, saddle soap, and it's a marriage of American oak and manzanilla sherry casks. So I'm interested to try it. But what do you have going on your side?
I have a plain and simple cardamom tea. I mean, it has
Yeah,
the ginger, and then yeah,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
you know
Just
what happened?
a cup.
The cork broke.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. So we are live. I will not be damaging that bottle. I don't have anything to get that out with. So I guess I will enjoy that later. But
Okay.
whoops, on the cork there. Oh well, it is live. Okay, so we've worked together through ServiceNow for the Global Payments Project. You've really showcased your great skill set, especially in the SAM Pro area. But I know that you've got experience and knowledge in other modules. But I think we wanted to start talking about our ServiceNow journeys because we both took different paths into the ecosystem. So go ahead.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'll start like, I mean, I did not start off as a ServiceNow professional, right? I started off into the ITAM industry. It started probably in 2012, and that was my first job. And I started learning about IT asset management, software licensing, and then gradually, when I started to learn about it, I got introduced to ServiceNow, very early versions of ServiceNow, and I don't think even SAMPRO was available then. So that got me interested in the tool itself. Back then we just used it as a ticketing tool, but I still could figure out there's a lot of potential there. And then eventually when I started my journey in the consulting world, I started off as a SAMPRO consultant,
Mm-hmm.
and right after I got into software asset management professional, I got certified, and that's where things took a turn. Because when you get certified, a lot of people start taking you seriously. A lot of companies, a lot of partners, they would want to know, okay, what have you learned through the certification, and it carries a lot of value to itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually opened up a lot of doors for me. I started off with Alcor as a consultant, like specifically a SAMPRO consultant, but then I moved on to Beniva, and that's where it was like a bunch of projects that I did, and mostly software asset management. But then gradually there was a project that I did for hardware asset management as well. So that's where I got to know the whole ITAM world, and that actually changed a lot of things for me. It was a lot of projects, a lot of working hours, but then I learned a lot. And I've always been in the process side of things. I do understand the platform a lot. I am ITSM certified as well, so I do understand what ServiceNow is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd still want to be on the process side of things, and kind of blending the two together. So that's how I've gotten into service now, very focused on IT asset management. I still am. I do look out for projects or work that I would want to do is really item focused. But that's how I kind of got into the industry.
Oh, that's great. We have a couple comments to get to right away. So uh, I think this is your wife, or no? No, I'm sorry. Maybe not. But they're having milk. So we're having some viewers join us with the drinks. And LinkedIn user Shul said, way to go, woohoo. So thanks so much for talking and joining us and spending some time with us today. So, what is the mission? Oh, first off, I like your Vancouver Starbucks mug. Wherever we go, we try to get
Yeah,
a
yeah.
mug
I
or
think
two as well.
my wife and I, we do this like wherever we are. Like if we are in a new city, we try and look for a Starbucks, get that cup, kind of stock
Yeah.
up. I think we're at 12 cups by now.
Nice. That's a pretty good collection.
Yeah,
That's yeah. My wife and I do the same thing. She started doing that
yeah.
before we met, and we continue that tradition. So, Talent Link Up.
Yeah.
What is the mission of Talent Link Up?
That's really a good question to start off with. So for Talent Link Up, I'll talk about how I started, why I started. So I've been in Canada for a very long time and been working as a consultant and in the ServiceNow ecosystem for a very long time. So what I've seen in the past, what has happened is there is a gap. There is definitely a gap that I could sense. 2 years ago I could see there's a gap. There are a lot of consultants out there are a lot of projects out there, but there's no one to kind of bring them together. So that what kind of started the journey. That's where I thought, let me get into this space and try and connect and make money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? It's good market and it's good money. So I thought of all those things, and that's when I started Talent Link Up. We started early this year, and it started off as a hiring company. But I'll talk about what we're going into. But the vision is to kind of bridge that gap. Like that's what I'm looking for. Just still, like I talk to a lot of partners on a daily basis, a lot of consultants on a daily basis, and there is so much talent out there, but I don't think the match is available right now. So that's what I'm trying to do, bridge that gap. There is a lot of consultants in Canada that don't know about, professional services, the
Mm-hmm.
kind of project that we're doing, right? There are a lot of consultants, they're very talented, they're certified, but they don't know how to, step into that ecosystem and kind of, get their name out. So that's what I'm planning to do, and that's the vision. uh, the other thing that I want to do with Talent Link Up is, and we can touch on it, and probably you can jump in as well,
Sure.
uh, is how we can bring in new talent. Right, there is a lot of young individuals out there who are really eager to get into the ecosystem. They're really eager to talk about, learn more about ServiceNow, but they don't know where to start. So that's where as an organization, I would want to build that talent pool and guide a lot of young individuals into our space.
Sounds good. We've got a couple comments. So, Nathan Weldon, thanks for joining, fellow CMA. He's having a nice stiff bubbly, so that'll make Michael Bublé happy, who is from the West Coast of Canada. So, nice shout out for that one. Thanks, Nathan. And then also Jace Benson, founder of Knowledge and other
Wow.
ServiceNow fame, saying, "Hey there." Jeff Jesse, who also helped out with Knowledge, says he has have to drive, so of course no drinking at the moment, but he's a bourbon guy, so he'll be having that after his errands. So thanks so much for joining us, guys and gals, and everybody that wants to spend time with us. We really appreciate it. So let's go back into the next question, though. So, why is ServiceNow a great career path for newcomers?
I would say, I mean, it's a great career path for anybody, like not just newcomers, but anyone who wants to step into the ecosystem and be a part of
Mhm.
the platform. But I think newcomers, they're young and they're ready to learn, and you can train them easily. So, and ServiceNow is a platform that kind of gives you all that. It's
Mhm.
easy to use, and it's widespread. There is AI, there's lots of AI coming in. There's so much to learn, and there's so much to expand. So I think if a newcomer wants to step into IT, or get into that space, ServiceNow would be the first right step, because like I said, it's easy, and it's customizable. It welcomes you, and then there's so much of learning available, like with ServiceNow University, right? And you can
Yes.
jump in, like, because you've been in the platform a lot more than probably I would have been. So probably, what's your take on how newcomers and how it helps newcomers?
Well, I think they give you all the tools to learn on your own with minimal investment other than time. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you can get that personal development instance and you can do your own real world practice for most use cases. Like, obviously, you're not going to build an email integration and stuff like that doesn't work because PDIs can't send emails, things like that. But for the most part, you can install the products and learn them and learn how to configure and customize things, aka stand stuff up. And you can take most of the ServiceNow University courses on demand for free but there's a caveat. You do have to pay to take the certification exam, but that doesn't mean that you can't take the course, which I have in some cases, and just plan to not take the exam. So, in some of them, I just need the information, I need the knowledge, and I don't need the certification just yet, but I put it on my roadmap to get it. So I've got three mainline certifications that are currently on that path, and I'm hoping to get one of them next month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that for newcomers, if you haven't had a chance to even look at the platform or do anything with it, there's the only thing that you have to spend is time at this point, and that is a huge advantage for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What skills do you feel matter the most right now for people trying to break into the ecosystem? And then I'll ask it again about people trying to advance to a next role. We're
Yeah.
talking things like technical, functional, consulting skills. What for a
Um,
newcomer? What should they look at first?
I think a newcomer has to have a consulting mindset. I think that's the first thing I would say I would go off of it. If you're a newcomer, you want to break into the industry, I would say just kind of start building that consulting mindset. Try to understand what that problem is and try to find a solution. So when you have that mindset, when you're in that space, then technical and functional skills you can build over time. You go meet with customers, you study about it, you read up on it online, but then you got to build that mindset first. I think that's what worked out for me when I was a newcomer. I think
Mhm.
the biggest thing that worked out for me, I didn't have any certifications. I didn't know what certifications I need. All I had captured in my past experiences was process knowledge. I knew how IT asset management works in 10, 15 different organizations. So I kind of kept on capturing that. And then I tried to analyze, what the problem is. Where is the gap? What are we trying to fill
Mhm.
here? So I think that worked out really well for me. And I think for newcomers as well, building that mindset, kind of getting out and, trying to understand the problem itself, be consultative in your mindset. I think that works out a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. We've got another comment from Nathan saying that the essentials version of most of the courses are a great start, and it does show you exactly how a specific product works. So that it gets you speaking the same language, learning the navigation, etc. So great point and tip from Nathan there. Thanks for us mentioning that. Um, the next one, this is always one of the most heated debates. There's two heated debates in the ecosystem. This is the second most heated debate, and it is certifications versus real world experience.
It,
So,
it is
what's your take on this one? And we'll watch the comments fly. And I'm probably going to get a message from Robert Fedoric or Tim Woodruff on my take, but you go ahead.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, no biases, but I mean, being a functional consultant, I would say, uh, you know, having that experience, or having that real life experience weighs a little more than having those certifications. Certifications do get you into the system, do get you the job, but imagine you get a certification and you don't know what to do with that. That's where the problem is, right? So I would always be on the side, your functional knowledge really depends on how you perform, what you do. Certifications are definitely add on, but I would keep the functional knowledge first rather than the certifications.
Okay, that's fair. We got one comment from Jace. It's a bit of a long one. So he's wishes that more organizations were willing to take on new people. Wholeheartedly agree. He said Mike Roberts, who spoke at the Knowledge conference, virtual conference last week, he helped people get into this free real world experience through freelancing on smaller projects. He'd be curious to know if people followed that path or any of those types of things. And we also have one about CSA for your entry level. Is anything past that? But anything past that is farming if you aren't using it directly. And yeah, that's fair. Those are fair comments. Here's what I like about the certifications.
Yeah.
It unifies the language. So I know we're talking the same language, and it tells you what is in the out of the box capabilities and how to configure it.
Yeah.
Does it give you implementation experience? No, but it helps make the most out of that experience. So if I'm going off and building something, and I'll use GRC because I don't know anything about GRC, and I've looked at some of it and I'm like, okay. So to learn and build it would take me a lot longer on my own than if I did the cert. But it is a use it or lose it thing.
Yeah.
So, an example last year was an HRSD implementation that I was a part of.
Yep.
I got HRSD way back in like 2019 as part of a bid for a partner that I was at the time. They never got the bid, but I had the cert
Yeah.
and I never used it. And then 4 years later, can you lead this HRSD implementation? And I'm retaking the course. I already had the cert past the deltas, but if
Yeah.
I'm honest, I did not remember enough of that content to really effectively be a part of that. Oh, I think now we have. Oh no, Sushant is saying excited to tune in about learning about your ITAM journey. So thank you so much. Nathan is also responding to Jace on the challenge of the partners about building the big team. And and Nathan lives for GRC. So shout out. I will I will call you and just give you that business then because I can't do it. Okay, so I agree with the certifications in real world when they work together. If I
I mean,
have to pick, I pick real world. But honestly, I am rarely in an opportunity where someone says they'll take someone without the cert. I've only
yeah,
had that happen honestly
yeah.
once in the last 2 years.
I've seen that. Like the kind of business that we are in right now, like
Mm-hmm.
link up the kind of consultants that we're working, all of them are certified in probably 5 years, 10 years on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an important aspect of it. I would say, even for me, like to get into professional services, you need that cert, right? If you want
Yeah.
to do SAM implementation, you need to have that. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for a newcomer, I think still to get into the ecosystem, I'd say you start with a CSA. That's the basic. That's the most basic
Yes.
you would want to do. Start with the CSA. Actually, as an example, there's a young individual I'm working with. He's helped us build our website. So
Mm-hmm.
he got interested into ServiceNow, and you know he wants to learn. And what I told him was, just take your time, go do the CSA. He got so interested in the platform, he did his CSA in like 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
now, yeah, and now we moving him on to the next steps, similar to, and we go back to our conversation about newcomers, bringing newcomers. So one
Mm-hmm.
of the people who works on our team, he did not have any understanding of ServiceNow, but what he has done is while he's been working with me, he's kind of captured on some bits and pieces, and he understands modules more than a layman would do, and he knows
Mm-hmm.
modules by name, so it's easy on the hiring side of things as well. So I think it's a mix of skills that we need to be successful in this space.
Yeah, I agree. So, what are some of the biggest opportunities? So that I had this question I think last week uh, about which module should they focus on for a specific area of the world, and I wasn't familiar with that area's market and needs. But what do you think in North America are some of the biggest opportunities? I'm talking ITAM, obviously that's your specialty amongst others. ITOM, SecOps, HRSD. Like, what are you seeing are in the most demand from your perspective?
From a, like, I mean, I'm always biased. I'd say I time, just go Sam Ham
Mm-hmm.
and do that. But what I've seen a lot coming out these days, in terms of roles and what I see as requirements is a lot of CSM. A lot of CSM is showing up like
Okay.
for the past, I think, past 1.5 month, 2 months. I've seen a lot of roles for CSM. And the other thing that has been on the radar is HRSD. So these have been
Mm-hmm.
popping up, and there are now requirements for agentic, right? People know
Yes.
now assist agentic AI. So those are I think the hot ones, and ITAM has been I don't know, for the past 2 years, it's been like a hot cake. Like everybody needs ITAM resources. I haven't been out of work for like, I've always been on a contract for past 2 years just because that skill's in demand. So I would say start with ITAM.
Start with those. Okay. And
Yeah,
I'll always throw in my near and dear CMDB, CSDM data foundations, which was one of the new
yeah.
mainline certifications this year. That's critical to understanding just how things connect. Maybe you don't need the cert on that one, especially if you're focused on an HRSD implementation or something like that. So there's an opportunity, I guess, to take some content and maybe don't go in and take the test there.
Yeah, no, CMDB definitely is on my radar next. Like on my projects, I hear a lot. I kind of understand it, but I need to get the cert and kind of get into it. So
Hmm.
that's really on my radar. It's
Sure.
essential, I would say, if you want to do a platform implementation, like get into ITAM, CMDB is an essential piece of it.
You can help me with my ITAM questions, and I'll help you with your CMTB ones if you want.
That's Yeah,
Can
no, that's
trade
definitely
knowledge there.
can
Yeah.
do.
So, what are some common pitfalls that you feel newcomers, especially, should avoid? And then we'll ask it again about people that are trying to maybe go for a larger role. So,
Uh, Common pitfalls, I would say, is not understanding the platform well and not picking up a niche. I would say that's my take. That's
mhm.
how I would want to do it. I would approach it. As a newcomer, I always recommend that you pick up a niche. Okay, you've done your CSA, so now what's next? Where do you want to see yourself um, as an expert, right? You would want to start
Mhm.
building that out. As a newcomer, probably what I've seen is I see resumes all day, right? Service now resume day in day out. But I see people have 3 years of experience, 2 years of experience, but they have like 10 different certifications. Okay, what do I hire you for, right? So
Right.
that I would say is a pitfall, because you don't have a niche that you can stand by, and you have a lot of certifications. Which one do I trust you on? So that's where I think a lot of newcomers should focus. Build a niche. Beat ITSM. Start with ITSM.
Mhm.
I think that kind of gives you a lot of exposure into the platform. So I'd say that's where a lot of newcomers would need to focus on.
Okay. And I think adding on to that is
Yeah,
focusing on being able to demonstrate something.
yeah,
So, that first role, I have no experience, and we've all been there. So you need to then get into that PDI, build something, be able to demo it, be able to back it up, because those PDIs will wipe out and you'll lose your work. But to be able to showcase, hey, I built this, it does this, it delivers this value, and that'll help showcase things that you've done with the platform relevant to those certifications, and that'll help build that trust with people like yourself who are like, how, which one out of these 10
yeah,
do I want to bring you in on?
for sure. And I think the other thing that's important for newcomers or anyone in the industry is to just strengthen your network on LinkedIn. It is
Hmm.
the next place to be here, I'd say, because all our hiring that we do as part of Talent Link Up is through LinkedIn. Like I would just, first thing I would do is go look at your LinkedIn profile, see where you've worked in the past, what are your connections, how well do you write your LinkedIn profile. So all that kind of, adds to being out there and being available in the market. And, you just kind of focus on networking is what I would say.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about newcomers there, but I have a question. So let's say hypothetically you're you're a CMA who's been in the partner ecosystem and you're looking to go independent. Not me. I'm already independent. But how would you recommend they navigate that type of path? So we've gone from the newcomer all the way to that kind of top tier one.
First thing, give me a call.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, on a very serious note, I think for CMAs, for sure, like it's a big certification, it's a big achievement, right? Being a CMA
Mhm.
out there. So I think first thing is that you should market yourself well, because as a CMA, lot of companies would want to hire you, just keep you on the payroll, or just keep paying you for just being there, right?
Mhm.
So I think the first step would be just market yourself as much as you can, and then start working with partners like myself, or there's so many people, there's so many companies out there. Just
Mhm.
start working with trusted partners till the point you're there where you can just be independent and just be on your own. I think I would say first step, start marketing, get your network up and
Mhm.
running, let people know that you're a CMA and what your skill set is, where you can kind of help them, and then partner up, or talk to companies like myself or other companies out there who can get you to the right space, who can get you in that right opportunity, and then it's on that individual to kind of build on it.
Right. Okay, so how would people get in contact with you?
That's a great question. So I can drop my LinkedIn LinkedIn page there. So the best
Hmm.
way to reach out to us is through LinkedIn, but I can share all my contact details. Drop us an
Okay.
email. Yeah, just LinkedIn. I mean, I'm always available there. So that's the best way to reach out to me.
Okay, perfect. So we'll post that in the chat here and also in the description. I'll update it after we stop the recording here. But the contact information is there. You can go to talentlinkup.ca right now if you want and reach out that way as well. So
Yeah.
at a minimum, go from that. But if you want to reach out to Section directly, we'll provide that direct contact and connect through LinkedIn. Now we got a bit of a longer question here, and this one's a little more technical. So let's dive in. This one's a good one to ask. So thank you, Anshul. So, saying with the rapid shift toward cloud first and hybrid IT environments, how can organizations leverage ServiceNow SAM Pro to gain visibility and control over both on prem and SaaS software spend? And what challenges do they face in keeping their asset data accurate and actionable in real time?
That's an amazing question. We
Yeah.
Yeah, no, cloud based. Uh, we I get that a lot. Like all of my engagements, I think I've heard cloud once at least, um, and SaaS being part of it. I would say, with a lot of companies going to cloud first strategies and building a lot of SaaS products, the
Hmm.
most actionable thing to do, as if you're implementing SAMPRO or if you've already implemented SAMPRO, the most actionable and the most effective thing to do is start with a smaller SaaS integration. Pick a product like, I'd say, Jira, or a lot of companies use that, or Slack, or whatever that product is. ServiceNow has a huge list of out of box integrations. So just pick up one of those. It is easy to integrate. Once you integrate, get your entitlement data. I mean, we're just going too technical about it, but still. So get your entitlements in, and it just gives you results right away. So
Hmm.
that's where you get buy-in from all your all your stakeholders, or anyone who's paying for the tool. You see value right away. So that's the first step, I would say, with just start integrating with SaaS products. It's your first go to strategy, as if you're implementing SAM Pro, or realize value soon,
Hmm.
start with SaaS. So that's what I would say.
And one greenfield implementation tip is don't start with Microsoft. Pick a small one, start with something small, and build a pipeline and skill set and learn as you go, because starting with the biggest one is going to be the slowest method to getting something in production. And I
Yeah.
read, and I don't know if this is really a Bill McDermott quote, but I read a headline read that Bill McDermott is quoted again. That's a headline read. I have not validated if it really is his quote, but that good enough in production today is better than perfect in production in 2 weeks,
For sure.
because that 2 weeks ends up never coming, right? Every single time it's like, now that I see it, well, now that I see this. And then it turns into a 6 month catalog item that you're deploying, when good enough is get it into production. What is the true MVP?
Yeah.
Because that is better than nothing. And then you can start to build on it iteratively, and you can start measuring value earlier.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I've seen, to your point, Chris, getting something out there is better than, getting everything out there in like 2 weeks, which never happens. I would say start with a smaller product, just get it out there, see how it looks, because that's what gets people excited. I mean, I've
Right.
worked with software asset managers all my life,
Hmm.
and, a good compliance score is what gets them excited. If they see the numbers, wow, like it's magic to them.
Right.
So I'd say, that's where you would want to start.
Okay, we've got a couple other questions. So Nathan asks, at what point do you think it's crucial to know integrations? I think it's crucial if that's the targeting implementations you want to do. I like doing integrations, so I do many of them each year. But I know people that never do integrations, cannot set up SSO, do not know what a client ID is, and they are some of the best ServiceNow implementers I've seen, because they can do something else way better than I can. So it really depends on your niche. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, how rapidly the platform is growing, and whatever many integrations we have now, I think as early as you can start in your career, like try to get to know integrations, because at some point in your career, be it at the very beginning, or at a later stage, you got to do the integrations and kind of bring value from other tools as well. So I would say, there's no specific point in your career, but you should just start learning about it as soon as you can.
Nice. And we've got Cheryl, who I met at the Knowledge Networking event. So, hey, Cheryl, thanks for joining us. She says hello to everybody. And then Nathan is asking, what do you think about foundational core integrations beyond LDAP and SSO? This is always client facing, and I'm always surprised at the number of different ones. I was part of a recent RFP for one, and it was one integration that I've already built and one that I'd never built. And fortunately there's a store app and a connector for it. But I think at this point, service graph connector, you need to learn and get good with that because everything, in my opinion, feels like it's moving to that.
Yep.
So I'm kind of going to refocus 2026 on getting very fast at service graph connector and learning all the ins and outs and how to do all the proper logging for effective operational management and a bunch of stuff like that. But that's what I'm targeting. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't know a lot of integrations myself. I mean, I know these integrations. I haven't done a lot of those other than Sam and Ham myself, so I wouldn't know a lot of integrations. But I mean, from a market or a what I see in terms of roles and requirements, I've seen roles in the past like couple of months. They're heavily focused on integration. So what they need is a technical consultant who has done integrations throughout their career.
Hmm.
So that's how important sometimes it is. So yeah, I mean, I would say integrations is an important piece, but to answer Nathan's question, I mean, Chris, you would know more here.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
another thing is that some integrations are built once and never touched again. So it depends on your business model. So if you are looking to get a lot of recurring business, some integrations will not yield that. You stand SSO and LDAP up once. I've built some of those and I've had clients with that have not touched it in 4 years,
Yeah.
but they've done other work. So just a heads up on the business side of it. Sometimes you're always trying to catch that next integration fish so that you can keep eating that. But integrations are a great way. Everybody needs them. ServiceNow is so integration friendly, and they push that a lot in sales. So you're never going to have a shortage of it. Thanks for your insights on this. Actually, just as a reminder, I know this is Scotch now. You don't see me drinking. I broke the cork off accidentally at the beginning. Saxon's got a tea. Do you want to talk about your tea a bit more? Did you? We
Yeah.
commented on the cup, but not really on the tea because I like
Yeah,
a lot
but
of great
it
teas as well.
is it is a simple beverage, but it is very effective. So it has ginger, it has cardamom, it has tea leaves, and milk
Hmm.
and sugar. It I mean, to make a perfect tea, you have to be making tea for a lifetime, and then also you may
Hmm.
not perfect it. Everybody has a different. It's like coffee, right? How do you take it?
Hmm.
But it's not just a beverage. I think it's the fuel. Like a lot of people in India, they just work throughout the day just sipping on tea. So I think that's how essential a tea would be in a place
Hmm.
like India. Yeah.
Nice, nice. That's really good. Okay, and I'm just catching my hair, so I'm kind of going through growing it out a little bit so that I can cut it and get a new style. But I'm
Nice.
just like, oh, not not my best hair day. That's fine. So let's talk. This one's one of my favorite topics to bring up. The role of mentorship and community as it relates to ServiceNow. So how does Talent Link Up help with the mentorship journey?
That's a great question, Chris. That is one of our mandates, I would say, is to get into mentorship and kind of like we started off with the conversation, right? Newcomers. So I would want to mentor as many newcomers as I can,
Hmm.
or maybe even if it's not a newcomer, even anyone who wants to break into service now, I want to do that because that helps my business eventually. Like, I'm being a bit selfish though, but then it
Hmm.
also advance people their careers. They want to go. If you have the right start, you can go wherever you want, right? And then the right mentorship is important. I've been doing this for a while. Like, even before starting Talent Link Up, I've kind of mentored a few people, it wasn't just for service now, but I think IT asset management as a whole, because a lot of people
Hmm.
do not focus when they want to get into IT, they do not focus on IT asset management a lot. What they do is, they would learn to code or, do other things, or maybe, get into IT service management. But ITAM sometimes has been neglected in the past. So I, just trying to push people into IT asset management, get to, train them on how to, what is IT asset management, how to manage, get into the organization, crack those interviews. So that's the kind of mentorship I've always been doing in the past. And
Hmm.
now I've kind of built this business which also would have a stream. So right now we're heavily focused on service now hiring, and we've also partnered with our other organizations throughout Canada. We've hired for federal organizations as well. But
Hmm.
then there is another stream that I would want to start, and maybe the community has to help there. It is the mentoring piece. We can do webinars, we can do one-on-one sessions, we can do a lot to kind of just mentor people on not just service now, but not just IT asset management, but just in general how to kind of build a career, how
Hmm.
to get into the IT space, because that's what we've been doing for a lifetime now. So I would want to mentor people, just build resumes. Like the most basic thing is how to build a resume. What you should have on your. I talked about your LinkedIn
Yep.
profile, just marketing yourself. What are those basic things that you need? I think once we kind of start mentoring people, it should go a long way.
I agree, definitely. And you'd mentioned webinars. So, have you recorded any webinars to date?
I haven't done a lot. I've done a couple. I joined
Okay.
a consulting company, and my first webinar was actually on SaaS integrations and ServiceNow. So yeah,
Nice.
so that was my first webinar that I ever did. But I do plan to record more, or just host meetups. Like that's also, I think, one of the
Hmm.
biggest ways to connect. That actually, my journey actually started with just going into a meetup for another partner, and that's
Hmm.
where I kind of got motivated and started off. So meetups, webinars, that's what I would want to do. Yeah.
Okay. We do have a question from Ragav. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So, for someone who is new in the industry, what are some new streams within ServiceNow that we can enter into?
So I mean, to answer that, I would say streams. I recently was like I told about the guy I was helping out.
Hmm.
I told him get the CSA. First thing I told him was just because he hasn't had a lot of exposure into the IT industry. So I told him try and understand IT service management, and then it
Hmm.
gives you the basic of basic. How IT services are run. And I think that I would say to answer Raghav's question here. So just start thinking about ITSM. That gives you a lot of exposure. I don't know, Chris, what would you say?
Yeah, I agree. ITSM is almost every single customer I've ever worked with uses it. Maybe I don't implement it, but having an understanding of how it works is going to ensure that anything I do is going to be supported and work well and play nice with the rest of it. I want to always swim with the ServiceNow current so that I can get the most value and do those accelerated delivery things. Another thing is obviously AI
Yep.
is a very hot new thing. And anytime that there's a major release of a new kind of product or a new, I wouldn't call it a stream because it's in everything, but I would say there's always the least amount of people know the most about a new product. So you're going to have a smaller competition pool
Yep.
in that area. But again, without those foundations, someone has those foundations and the new thing. So if you're looking at how do you stack up against your competition,
Yep.
that's an important consideration. So thank you. That was a great question.
That's fair.
Keep it coming if you want. Sorry, did you have something
Chris,
else to add?
yeah, no. So when you say AI, like I haven't dwelled a lot into AI in service now because of all the project
Hmm.
work that we're doing. It does not involve a lot of AI. But have you looked at what's in the future, or what's happening in the AI space in service now specifically?
Well, my crystal ball does not work as well. Other people definitely have a better pulse check on that.
Yeah.
You'd want to talk to Ping Jeremy Duncan if you can on LinkedIn. He's got a ton of AI experience and he works directly for ServiceNow.
Yeah.
I don't like, I've seen some of it. I've seen some of the demos. I've built one integration with AI and MS Teams,
Okay.
and connecting a virtual chatbot. They're very, very cool. It is. It's very cool. I haven't done it enough to really speak effectively on it, to be
Yeah.
honest. So I've seen what it can do, and I've seen how fast you can build stuff. When you get to the large organizations, though, AI gets you probably 60% of the way pretty quickly, and then you have to basically go in and regroom the code. Right? I would never pass any AI code I've ever seen through a text review. Not
Yeah.
once would I do that, but that's going to come. Eventually, you'll be able to feed in your naming conventions, and
Yeah.
it'll go, "Oh, I'll check this and do that." And it's coming. So that's why it is good for some people who are super interested in it, because I know that it's a hard initial ramp to get
Yeah.
up to learn it. I don't even understand what like LLMs and all. You like they
Yeah.
say it, and I'm like, "Oh, that uses this," and so I really have to learn the foundations of AI before I could even start learning ServiceNow AI,
Yeah.
to be
Same for
honest.
me. Like
Hmm.
I haven't even started looking at, but it's something we should like. I mean, I should kind of get into.
Yeah, eventually, right? Well,
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
whenever we get the time. So you're saying the future of ServiceNow careers is kind of what we were
Yep.
talking about here. So why is now the best time to enter the ServiceNow ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, now every time is the best time, but now specifically is the best time because it's expanding, right? You've seen
Hmm.
how it has grown in the past like 3 4 years. It is expanding at a speed that probably we're not able to keep up with. There's so many modules, like there's so much new every day in service now. So I think there is no like I don't see an end date, or I don't see it's gonna die down soon. It is exploding, and why not join it when it is exploding, and you
Hmm.
just make the most of it. That being said, add learning to it. ServiceNow University is available to everybody now, so you can just leverage that. It wasn't available. I think it just ServiceNow University started recently. It was all paid courses at some point.
Hmm.
So ServiceNow wants you to get in and learn as much as you can, and kind of get into the ecosystem as soon as you can. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, this is the right time because there's so much to be done. There's so much to be looked at. So why not?
Yeah, it is the hottest I've seen the market since when I joined.
Yeah,
So I started in January of 2017, and that year, if you knew the N in ServiceNow was capitalized, you got a job. And it was honestly
yeah,
like that. I was very inexperienced. I had some developer history, and I understood relational databases pretty well. Not to the level I do now because of ServiceNow, but that helped me along my journey. And then it kind of got to a point where you needed all these certifications, and entry level jobs are 3 to 5 years experience. And now companies have suffered enough where they're like, well, somebody's better than nobody,
yeah,
and it's kind of shifting back into that. But to go back to your mention of the courses, I remember, yeah, in 2019 they did like a 3 month section where they listed like 5 new on demand courses. Event management was one of them, and you could get it and take the test for free. And
yeah,
that's how I got 2 certs. Is during that time. I did not give up or waste that opportunity. I definitely capitalized on that one. And now with the ecosystem, we're moving away from Web Assessor. I don't know if that's happened just yet, into another kind of way to monitor and govern the certification process.
yeah.
But yeah, ServiceNow University has expanded a lot. I really liked how they did the paths,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
those career paths, they really help you,
Mm-hmm.
in that space. Like, what do you want to do? Like, this is what
Mm-hmm.
you do first. This is what you do next, and this is where you reach. So
Yes,
it's kind of is
definitely.
aspirational.
Okay. Oh, we got one more question coming in. So Abdul has says, with Salesforce expanding into the same modules available in ServiceNow, how do you see the scope of ServiceNow in the future?
That's a good one because I just recently I was looking at it yesterday. Salesforce has started IT service management, so it is. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a competition or anything. It's just another tool in the market, and since ServiceNow has its own space, it's not just a lot of people thought ServiceNow is just ITSM, but it's way
Hmm.
beyond that, right? And you and I can talk about it for hours. So, I mean, there is so much more to ServiceNow than just IT service management that, it really does not lose its charm. I'd say it's like we talked about it right just now. It's expanding and there is so much being added right now. So, I mean, no offense to Salesforce, they can start building what they want, but I think
Yep.
ServiceNow is still ahead in the game, and we can always scale up.
Hmm. Yeah, and there's always room in the marketplace for a good product,
Yeah,
just like there's always room for a quality employee or some a quality implementer, BA,
yeah,
BPC, however you want to title yourself with your job. So there's always room for somebody that's good
yeah,
and willing to do the hard work and show up and be consistent and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, thanks for the question, Abdul. Really appreciate it. Salesforce is expanding, ServiceNow is
yeah,
expanding. There's going to be some crossover for sure.
yeah,
Uh, Organizations have to make the decision that's right for them. ServiceNow's at what 85% of Fortune 100 or 500 market penetration. So it is everywhere already, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
which is nice. Yeah, I guess you just have to learn how to do a ServiceNow to Salesforce ITSM integration now.
Yeah, I think that's the next thing I'm going to start
That's
with.
the hot ticket in
Yeah,
2026.
I don't leave anything.
Yeah. I also agree back to our what's the best time to enter. The best time to enter the ServiceNow market is always the current day. So the earlier you get in and can say, I started in October 24th of 2025. That's the start date of your experience in your ServiceNow journey. And you are allowed to phrase it that way. I started my ServiceNow journey this time. I got my first role maybe 18 months later.
Yeah,
But tell me what you did in between that. The That other podcast that I had hosted last year, where we focused on helping one person go from developer to architect and one person go from non-ServiceNow to ServiceNow, and her journey was probably about 16 months,
yeah,
and we did 9 months in the podcast, one episode a month, and covered certain things like you covered with your resume building
yeah.
interviews. We did all that kind of stuff that I'm sure you're helping out. So definitely go and check that out if you want, but remember, go to talentlinkup.ca. Reach out to Sakshan on LinkedIn. That's your preferred method. I posted it in the chat, your LinkedIn link there. Also, have been wanting to say this since we joined the podcast, even before we started going live. Love the hoodie. So
Thank
it
you.
is reversed, but Talent Link Up. There's the logo. How do people buy that, or is that just
That's
employee
that's a
only?
teaser. Like people can always reach out to me, and we'll get these printed for everyone. You don't have to buy.
Oh well, that's very generous. All
Yeah,
right. Well,
no, for
my
sure.
wife.
And,
My wife. I'll send you one. My wife will want one. I know she will.
for sure.
She's probably already
Yep.
gonna pay me get me one of those hoodies because yeah, it's very nice. So thank you very much. Are there
Yeah.
any other pieces of advice or any other topics that you want to cover?
No, I mean, I just want to wrap it up and just say
Hmm.
it has been amazing building this business right now, and we're still building it. And
Hmm.
I just want people to reach out, not just for jobs or not just for anything, you know, just you know, just feel free to reach out, talk about service now, talk about what we're doing.
Hmm.
Um, and when I say that what we're doing, I wanted to talk about one other thing that we're doing, which is we have also been accepted as a ServiceNow partner. So
Right.
that's
Yes.
that's the next big thing that's happening with us. So not just hiring for ServiceNow, but I think we'd be building for ServiceNow. So
Hmm.
these are the two different streams that we're getting into now. So yeah, I mean, we're always there to support the community, mentorship, new jobs, anything and everything service now, we're there for you. So just feel free to reach out. Like you have the contact details, LinkedIn is there in the chat. I can
Hmm.
drop my phone number as well. Like I'm always.
I mean, if you want to post it
Yeah,
publicly,
yeah, no, I can do
you
that.
do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We can
Am
do that.
able to type in the chat, or can I?
You could just hit in the private chat, and I'll move it
Yeah, yeah,
over.
I'll do
Yeah.
that. So I mean,
So yeah. Go
yep.
ahead. Sorry.
I There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just want to be available, right? So that's why
Yep.
I have all my contact details. Just feel free to reach out.
Okay, I'm gonna label this Saksham phone number just so that you
Yeah,
know, yeah, people know. Okay, well, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed our time together. I've enjoyed working with you. Congratulations
thank
on
you
the partnership. I know that that's a huge milestone, and it's very well deserved. And you can also now look forward to Talent Link Up not only mentoring you to get that job, but perhaps they're even the one that hires you for the first job.
for sure. For
Right?
sure.
That seems to be the vision, and I know other organizations are looking at that type of thing as well. But it's nice to see someone starting it, a new part of the journey, even though
Yeah,
you've been in the ecosystem as long as you have. There's always something new to do. There's always something new to learn.
yeah.
So stay interested, stay engaged, and hope that the only thing better than your Friday today is your weekend.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris.
Okay.